Let's go back to the 7 steps to awakening. Verse 327, page 55. All this is mere imagination or thought. Even now, nothing has ever been created. The pure infinite space alone exists. And tat tvam asi, you are that. That's what's not stated in this particular verse, but that is implied. Only the pure infinite space, that alone exists. And tat tvam asi. That means, tat means that, tvam means you, and asi means are. That you are. You are that. Now, when the first line, it says, all this is mere imagination or thought, this is Dristi Shristi Vada. Dristi Shristi Vada means everything you see is imagined or a thought. This is not the highest level of the teaching, Ajata. This is the mid layer of the teaching. Dristi Shristi Vada. Dristi Shristi means everything is a manifestation of consciousness, a thought, an imagined in consciousness, a dream. Then it says, even now, nothing has ever been created. This is now Ajata Vada. Means there's nothing has been created. Ajata means no creation at all. And then it says the pure infinite space alone exists. And space is the vessel or the arena in which creation appears, right? That is what is meant by space. So only that in which creation appears exists, not the creation or the apparent creation. But even here, there's a slight distortion because the pure infinite space alone exists. In truth, there is no space either. Space itself is a part of creation. Time and space go together with the creation. So in the true Ajatavada, the truly radical teaching, they'll tell you even this infinite space is not a space. So these are just words being used as pointers. What is the difference between Dristi Shristi Vada, that says everything's imagined or dreamed in consciousness, and Ajatavada? Well, Dristi Shristi Vada says everything appears, but it's just a dream. It's not real. It's like a thought. It's imagined, like a hallucination. In Yoga Vashista, you often see that word hallucination being used. It's just hallucinated or imagined, they'll say. I wonder if I can see any examples here. Oh, here we go. Verse 331. This world and this creation is nothing but memory, dream. Distance, measures of time, like a moment and an age, all these are hallucinations. Here it's telling us that space and time are hallucinations. It says distance. Distance means space, right? Distance, measures of time, like a moment and an age. Short amount of time, large amount of time. So time and space is fiction, it's saying here. Distance, measures of time, like a moment and an age. All these are hallucinations. This is a recurrent theme in Yoga Vashista, this text. These themes are repeatedly pummeled home again and again and again in different stories, in different ways. The text is a huge text. And just these same teachings are given again in very beautiful ways. So when we say that it appears like a dream, this is Dristi Shristi Vada. Ajata Vada says it's very paradoxical. It says the dream has never even actually appeared. This is why Ajata Vada is not the same as Dristi Shristi Vada, which is why they're two different terms for them. You see, Bhagavan, when he talks about this, he shows there's a difference between these two. Most teachings are given on the level of Drishti Shristi Vada, but very few are given on the level of Ajata Vada because it makes so little sense. And you're also, and perhaps depending where you're speaking and when you're speaking, you may be at increasing risk of being locked up in some kind of psychiatric hospital or prison, or, you know, nailed to the cross or whatever, for blaspheming or being crazy or saying dangerous things. And these teachings can be very destabilizing and even harmful when given in the wrong context, or to people who are psychologically unstable. If you have psychological instability, then these teachings can be very destabilizing, and that's not always a good thing. So it's good to have the psychological work done first before you know, maybe not completely done, because that's very difficult to have all your psychological work done, but enough of to have enough of a stable psyche, so when you come across these teachings, it's not too destabilizing. We don't always have that choice as to choose when these teachings come into our life, but this is the ideal. So that was 327 that Hester read to us, and I read 331. But if we look at the one after 327, 328, oh, I like this one because it's got the word cosmic in it, which I always quite like. Cosmic consciousness alone exists now and ever. Maybe this translation was done in the 1970s or something. That's what I'm thinking. It's got cosmic in it, right? Cosmic consciousness alone exists now and ever. In it are no worlds, no created beings. So now this is pure Ajata Vada. In it there are no worlds, no created beings. And let's look at the next verse. Cosmic consciousness, by the way. See, now I think a more modern translator would maybe say universal consciousness, because the cosmos means the universe. You see, so the same word can be translated as cosmic or universal, something like this. You know, the or the absolute consciousness. I mean, it's all pervading, it's everywhere. This is the idea. I don't know what cosmic is. Kind of a, sorry, it's a cool word, isn't it? It's a cool word, cosmic, but people use it in an amusing way, don't they? They don't use it in a literal sense anymore, I don't think. That was 328. 329 is interesting. It says, even as an unreal nightmare produces real results, this world seems to give rise to a sense of reality in a state of ignorance. Meaning, in ignorance, you think this world is real. But then it goes on to say, when true wisdom arises, this unreality vanishes. Unreality here refers to the world. And then 330 is very profound. It doesn't necessarily sound profound, but it is very profound. 330. Changes in the unchanging. Changes in the unchanging are imagined by ignorant and deluded people. What it's saying is anything you see that's changing, that's a product of ignorance. So ignorance creates the illusion of movement, time, space, person, world, forces of nature. It creates the illusion of all these things, when actually none of these things are there at all. When we discover what we are, all these things disappear. And that is what we're looking for. And the seeking bug, the seeking itch, will continue until we discover the truth. Well, these verses I'm going to read another one, 332. Liberation is the realization of the total non-existence of the universe as such. This is different from a mere denial of the existence of the ego and the universe. The latter is only half knowledge. This could be seen as a protestation against neo-Advaitins who say there is nothing here, but it's just an intellectual assertion, as opposed to the true vision of Advaita, of non-duality. I could go on reading. These are all very powerful verses, but if oh my gosh, it gets very, very direct. So this is a wonderful set of verses to read if you're interested, if you're drawn to Ajata teachings. So I highly recommend this book, 7 Steps to Awakening. Hester, do you have any questions on anything I've said so far, seeing as you brought that verse?
No questions, but I think I just enjoy hearing you talk about that it's really true what it says here, that reality is real and unreality is unreal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're welcome. I'm happy to talk about it.
Yes.
I mean, one amazing thing is that we see these teachings across time and space, both of which are ultimately illusory. But if you believe in the illusion, it's very compelling evidence to show you there's something here that's been discovered across time, across geographical space. So we see Bhagavan's teachings from the 20th century. We see Michael Langford's teachings in the 21st century. We see Shankara's teachings and Yoga Vasishtha's or sage Vasishtha's teachings from over 1,000 years ago. We see the teachings in the Upanishads from, several millennia ago, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago. Some people say even 5,000 years ago. So the idea is that if you believe that as we all do when we first come to the teaching, we believe that the body, mind, and world are real, then within that paradigm of thinking that body, mind, and world are real, it becomes more convincing that these teachings are true, because we have people from different eras separated by time and space who are saying the same thing.